For example, the holy name, this is simple enough. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. That is the easiest shortcut to become Krishna conscious. And on top of that, we can, Srila Prabhupada, he took the effort while he was in the West and also before he came to the West to write so many books about his own realizations, you might say, or parampara, his emotional realization and feeling of Krishna consciousness. He called all these purports, he called them his emotional ecstasies. So he got Krishna consciousness given to him from his spiritual master, which was given to him from his spiritual master, and so on, all the way back to Krishna. And the only thing we have to do is to receive that gift in the form of hearing it. The only thing we have to do is to hear about Krishna from the pure devotee. So therefore, in this Krishna consciousness movement, we always emphasize, apart from chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, as much as possible every day, 2 hours a day if possible, 16 rounds, and taking nice vegetarian prasad foodstuffs to our satisfaction, for the development of finer brain tissues to understand spiritual life, and to try to acquire a taste for hearing Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, for hearing the Srimad Bhagavad. Try to develop an inner urgency and taste for hearing these things, because if we can somehow develop a taste for hearing the message from the pure devotee, then he will tell us everything about Krishna. The only thing is, it's difficult sometimes to listen to a pure devotee because he never speaks about sense gratification. He never says anything, which is super smart or far out, or that was a good joke, or wow, how did he figure that out? It is all very, very simple. There's no sensuality in it, as such, as we are used to from TV shows or reading mundane novels. Or there's always some, when are they going to, this and that. No, it will not be like that when you listen to the pure devotee. He will emphasize surrender to Krishna. He will emphasize service. He will emphasize purification. And the conditioned soul, who since time immemorial, the Nitya Baddha, the eternally conditioned soul, who has since time immemorial wanted to enjoy his senses, has a difficult time sitting down just listening to pure devotion, to the pure devotee speak. It may make us restless, or lower modes of nature disturbs us, and we have a difficult time concentrating, maybe because it's not sense gratification. So therefore we do these purificatory processes like chanting. Like, it's a very good thing to rise early in the morning at 4 o'clock and attend Mangal Arati and chant Hare Krishna, because that process of rising early, performing a little austerity, chanting the holy name for 2 hours, it is like paving the way to walk that nice way to back towards Krishna. And what is that way? That way is hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, and the Bhagavad Gita. Hear the message of the Lord from the pure devotee, in the association of devotees. You talk about Krishna as is described through the parampara. That vibration creates Krishna's presence among us. When we talk about Krishna in an authoritative way, as Srila Prabhupada has taught us, then Krishna is there. Just like Prabhupada says, if you with love and devotion offer him food, bow down, you chant the mantras before the picture or the deity, very simple instructions, then that sound of the devotee's loving offering to the Lord is identical with the Lord's eating it. Very important point. Just you ring the bell, you say the mantra, that means if it's done with love and devotion, and you are a pure devotee, the only thing you have to be is you have to be a pure devotee, Prabhupada says. There's no other requirement, no other need. You only have to be a pure devotee, and we are laughing, ha ha ha. But actually, to be a pure devotee means that you are acting under a pure devotee. It does not necessarily mean that we are completely, purified. It means that we have dedicated ourselves to follow another pure devotee. As long as we do that, we're pure devotees. That's why Prabhupada, when he was asked, how many pure devotees do you have as your disciples? He said, all my disciples are pure devotees. Which can be understood in two ways, I guess. Either, if they are not following me, as I said, they're not my disciples. But it also means that when you become initiated by a guru, that means you have accepted his philosophy. I mean, I don't think anybody should let themselves become initiated in Krishna consciousness without first having read what it is. You read the Bhagavad Gita at least, and see, do I agree to this? Or, if I don't agree, why should I let myself become initiated? And if I don't agree to what's in the books, that means, no, stay away, do something else. Don't come and disturb the devotees. They're serious. So now, pure devotee means that one is following another pure devotee. As long as one does that, that's pure devotion. One might have mental, some disturbance still going on in the mind. It's like a fan. When you turn off the fan in the ceiling, if you turn it off, it continues spinning for a little while because of its own momentum. So it's in the same way, when the spiritual master takes all our karma through initiation and so on and so forth, there may still be some habitual thing going on in our mind that will remind us about sense gratification every now and then, but it's just to be taken as the fan which is still spinning. Yeah, a little bit. So, yes, Prabhupada says the only requirement is to become a pure devotee, and we think, well, Prabhupada has a great sense of humor, but actually he's serious. Meaning, if you study Prabhupada's books, you will see that his definition of pure devotee is somebody who's actually just purely following another pure devotee, with just doing that and nothing else. So that means becoming initiated. You take initiation from a pure devotee and act under his instruction, that means pure devotional service. And that means if you do that, according to the rules and regulations, then you offer something to Krishna, he will accept it, provided there's no meat, fish or eggs in it. And provided it's cooked with devotion and offered with devotion. So that means the one who cooks it must also be a pure devotee. Krishna will not accept something which is cooked by a non-devotee, which was meant for sense gratification. He will only accept what is cooked with devotion and offered with devotion. And then if that, then everything in life is kind of covered. The food is covered, recreation is covered, we chant and dance, our intellectual needs are covered, we read the books, our needs of the social life are covered. We associate with the devotees by talking about Krishna, in various ways serving Krishna. So everything is very, very easy in Krishna consciousness. There's absolutely no difficulty whatsoever. The only difficulty comes if because of habit we may want something else. But if we just do the effort and have the patience a little bit to try the process, including very intensely studying Srila Prabhupada's books, because they explain to us who Krishna is, who we are, what our relationship is to Krishna, what is action, what is time, all these things are described in the Bhagavad Gita, and how to act, and so on and so forth. And we just follow that, everything is very, very, very simple. But the purification comes from the chanting of the holy name, and the knowledge comes from hearing Srila Prabhupada or the devotees speak about Krishna. The more we hear about Krishna, the more we can actually love him. Because you cannot love somebody you don't know. How can you love Krishna if you don't know who he is? They say we come from some other, like I come from basically an atheistic tradition, and I was taught a little bit of Christianity in my childhood. So if somebody told me about God before I had heard about Krishna consciousness, I would think about some silly idea about an old man in the sky and not believing it at all. So it's very important to understand who Krishna is, how he is God, all these details from the pure devotee, because then we can know how to serve him. Then we can love Krishna. There can be no love of Krishna if you don't know who he is. Or if you have a sentimental idea that doesn't really fit with reality. So that's why it's very important to keep listening to the pure devotee speak. And especially we always recommend reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And nothing as pure and fantastic as that. And now his first 3 volumes of Bhagavatam that he brought to India are being reprinted for anybody who's curious how Prabhupada writes completely unedited. I think Lalitanath is selling them, right?
I'm trying to order 10 copies, then you get a special price. So if someone would like to have one, then I will.
It's Prabhupada's original unedited first canto in 3 pieces. With every volume has an introduction, which is not there in the other edition. So it's very, very interesting.
Even the paper and the binding,
yeah,
the cloth,
yeah,
and the smell,
yeah,
are the same.
Wow! I'm looking forward. I ordered a set. I can't wait.
I mean, they are only if you look somewhere in a small print on the same last page, then you can see it's just a facsimile. Otherwise, you'll be.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's such a joy. I read it through the folio, the database on the computer. I didn't have the paper version, but it is anyway such a joy to read Srila Prabhupada's original writing. It's a little. The English is not always completely correct. It's like Indian poetical style English, but it's very, very sweet. So I recommend everybody to read that and to read the Bhagavad Gita. In Danish or English, there's a very nice new Danish translation that everybody should have. So, yeah, what can I say? We have to stop at 4:30, right?
Yeah.
So if there's 1 or 2 short questions, otherwise we stop. Yeah. Yes?
This verse, you could say it promotes in some way a little laziness, because Krishna says, just give me a leaf. So, okay, I'll just give Krishna a leaf and...
No, he says it's love. It's an exchange. Love means exchange. You enjoy the exchange of love. It's not devotional service. It's not trying to avoid to act. You have to act in any case. So why not do something for Krishna? It is a general thing. I don't understand why it should be laziness. He just says this you can offer. Leaf means vegetables. Fruit means also vegetables or fruits, water, flour. This is non-violent things, that is the point. With bhakti. So you have to eat. So before you eat, you give it to Krishna. Very practical. When you're hungry, you're not so lazy, I know. You will not be so lazy if you're hungry. But give it to Krishna before. Yeah. Anything else?
You said there's no sense gratification when the pure speaks about Krishna consciousness like that. But it does seem actually, when you hear about it, it's Krishna said it has uncommon activities, so you get very enlightened to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because it beats any mundane novel.
It is fantastic. So in that sense, you could say it's a site for sense gratification because it's very fascinating. But it's not like... it's not a sense. What I meant to say is it's not contaminated by the lower modes of nature of passion and ignorance, because to the conditioned soul, if something is completely free from the modes of nature, it is like nothing for him. He cannot even relate to it. It's dry. But that's just until you acquire this higher taste, and it comes just by forcing yourself to hear, and then and by that endeavor, Krishna will be pleased. Maybe. Or maybe not. We don't know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, say Rupa Goswami says. Devotional service, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. If you're unfortunate, nothing happens. But if it doesn't hurt to try. And Prabhupada says no one can be barred from Krishna consciousness. Everybody can do it. It's so easy. So, with that, I think we have to stop because it's 4:30, time for Arti. We do a little kirtan, stretch our legs, dance and sing, and then there's prasad. Hari Bol.